I'm a homeschool mom of two. I have an almost 9-year-old and 13-year-old. And we started homeschooling in 2017, mid-year. We pulled our kids out in the middle of the school year, mostly because our oldest, who is labeled gifted, I don't really like that word, but was bored in school, telling us her favorite subjects were lunch and PE. And the school wasn't doing a lot to provide additional support for what was needed for her learning. So after trying different things, we just pulled her out as well as her brother, who was in kindergarten at the time. And it wasn't just that year, it was like 3 or 4 years where we had just seen repeated patterns of our child being ignored when the need was really there for additional support. And my mother not forced me, that's not the right word, but I'm gonna say forced me. She bugged the heck out of me to homeschool and wouldn't let it go. So if you have a mom that's a pusher like I do, she pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. She's like, you need to homeschool them children, need to home. I was like, I am not, no way, no how, no. And I just kept saying no for like 6 months. And then it got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore. And literally, sidebar, I kept bumping into people who were homeschoolers, and it was so random, like on the street, or the pest control person came to my house, and he randomly just said he was homeschooled all his life. And this was in the whole conundrum of us trying to figure out what we were going to do. And I was like, you were what? And then I was just bumping into people. I'm like, this is so weird because this never happens. And so finally, I felt like signs were being thrown at me. And if I didn't do it right away, something was going to happen that was beyond my control. And so it's been a really good journey, not always easy, but definitely worth it. I would say, as we're getting ready to get started, the thing I've learned the most, and someone posted this morning, if you had to tell yourself, go back and tell yourself when you started, what would you say? And I think just stop worrying about your children, because they will learn. The kids learn like crazy. It's just, when they say kids are sponges, that's an understatement. So we don't need to worry about them. We need to worry about our self-care as we teach them. Because I do remember having a lot of stress, hair falling out, hair problems, because my energy was not directed in the right place.
Right.
So I needed to do more stuff for Shannon so that the kids would be successful. Kind of like when Michelle Obama tells us all the time, like put yourself first. That is really, really, really true. So that's what I would go back and say to Shannon. Take care of yourself, because these kids are going to be all right. So that's my story. Yes. They're going to be all right up in here. And sure enough, 3 years later, the kids are fine. My son's going to 4th grade. My daughter's going to 8th grade. She's still in the gifted status. She wanted to go back to public school. The beginning of this year, which we did allow, she did fine. She had great grades. She was in advanced classes. It was fine. It was fine. And sometimes I was like, I'm not doing enough. I need to do more. Give me some more books to read. And I was just doing the most. So please, if you can, don't do that to yourself.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to put my headphones on so I can hear everybody, and then I'm going to shut up and then let you take over. Ayesha, you good?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I can't see everybody. Hold on. Oh, some of y'all not showing you. Well, can you guys see me?
I can see you.
Okay.
I see you. I like your glasses.
Thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Ayesha Brown, and I've been homeschooling for 13 years. 14 years. Like, I've lost track because my oldest, who is turning 8, I started when she was 5. And she wasn't, her, you know how they have that cutoff date, that they have to be 5 by September 30th or something. Well, she
Right.
turns 5 in November. So I was like, I'm not like waiting to help this girl learn. So we did preschool / kindergarten at home. And we had a blast. We learned lots of things. We got, and I was also pregnant and had my second child during that time. So we sang lots of songs, did lots of art, read lots of books. Wherever I went, she went. Our schedule was flexible. So we would do a couple of hours in the morning and then that would be it. So that was like our first experience of doing school at home. And I had my second son and then my third son when I sent her to public school, and she went to public school for first, second, and third grade. And in second grade, she tested gifted. And so they moved her to the gifted school, it went from like a smaller K-5 to like K-8 Spratly. And in third grade was when issues started to pop up. She has test anxiety. And so there were math concepts that they were sort of like not working with her with. And so that was like bleeding into her homework and not making her feel like she wasn't capable. And when I would talk to her teacher about it, she'd be like, oh, she'll be fine. Kids are resilient. I'm like, she's not understanding rounding and subtraction. Like, that's not something to be resilient about. That's a math concept that you as a teacher should be helping her with. Well, I didn't debate with her. I tried to work with her at home. It takes her a little bit longer to understand math concepts even to this day. So that's just her unique, challenge. But I got tired of getting up early, staying up late, doing homework. And I told my husband, I was like, this is stressful for both of us and for us as a family because I still have 2 toddlers I'm running after. So why don't we homeschool? And Sharice brought up the fact that she loved when we did kindergarten at home before she went to public school. She still says that. She still says she loves that. And she misses how much fun learning was. So our homeschool story, for at least for her, is coming to a close next June. God willing, Lord willing, help us.
I hear you.
And we've had some dips and dives. Like we dove back into public school her first 2 years in high school, and that was a disaster. And so we came back to homeschooling. I adjusted we joined a co-op because now I'm schooling 3 children at the same time, which brings its own challenges. And so I was like, recently, I'm so sorry that I learned all of my mistakes via you. You never want to have like your first child take all your bruises for parenting. But I mean, unfortunately, that's just how I'm just leaning on God's grace. I'm leaning on God's grace for that. So
absolutely.
Anyway, that's my part of my homeschool story. And it was basically, we homeschool because we wanted her to be able to learn at her own pace. And so whatever brought you here, I'm so glad you're here. You can do this.
Thank you.
And I'm going to give you like a basic introduction. I'm going to give you 4 steps that work you all the way through the process of making sure that you're straight in order to be able to homeschool here in the state of Virginia. Number one, notice of intent, because that is coming, the deadline for that is coming up August 15th. You can either email it, mail it, or hand deliver it to the school offices. Here in Hampton, it's located in the School of the Office of Social Work. Their offices are housed in that particular office, and the school offices build the main administration building. And your notice of intent, Shannon, are we going to be linking all of that stuff here in the chat from HEA?
Yes, I can do that.
I appreciate you.
No problem.
The one that we're linking looks like this.
Okay, got it.
And you fill it out. You can.
Could you hold that up again to make sure I have the right one?
Yes, we'll be sending the link with the
Okay.
Do
Yeah,
not use a form sent by your school district, because they will try to get more information from you
Okay.
that is not required by law. This is
Okay.
strictly to the letter of the law.
Okay.
And it's from heav.org. And you have to provide proof of your eligibility to offer home instruction. And home instruction, I'm going to go over this because home instruction is under separate law than public education. Homeschooling is when a family chooses to educate their children at home. Essentially, it is a continuation of the parenting that is done since birth. This can look like many different things. There are as many different people as there are different methods to homeschooling. But the main thing is that the family takes full responsibility in making sure what their child is learning at each grade or age level. Homeschooling is not, for legal reasons, K-12, virtual Virginia, or any variation of public school at home via distance learning. Now that's a different schooling option other than brick and mortar, but the way that it is different from homeschooling is that the public school district controls the sources of materials and essentially controls when and what you're teaching your children.
Okay.
So they provide the curriculum, they provide the textbooks, they provide the actual instruction. There are attendance requirements. You have to be in front of whatever you're using for a certain number of days and a certain number of hours. And it requires you to turn in a certain number of work in order to get graded. With homeschooling, you control all of that. You control when you school, what subjects you're going to cover, what topics you want to cover, how long your school day is going to be. You control all of that as a homeschooler. Are there any questions?
I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's see how far I can. Okay, so when we're homeschooling and we keep our own records as far as grades and that sort of thing, do we have to turn that in? Do we have to show that to anybody, or?
I mean, like, you have to show proof of progress, but we're not there yet. I'm still going over.
Okay, I jumped ahead. Okay, all right.
Write your question down, put a pen in it.
Okay.
And I'll get to it later.
And a notebook.
Yes.
Ayesha, you do have a question in the chat.
Oh. I'm sorry, my mouse is hiding.
You're okay. I'm gonna read it to you.
Okay, thank you.
I just got something in my throat. Oh my goodness. Okay. Camille is asking, how is the transition from homeschooling to public school?
For us, it was really hard because I tried to do public school setting at home. And that's actually a topic we're going to cover in one of our future meetups. But at first it was hard. I mean, it was still hard when we did high school because I kept trying to do the same thing. And I'm like, this is not working. My kid was telling me it's not working, but in her own different way. And I'm like, okay. I had to release it and try something different. So,
Yeah, can I chime in on that too?
absolutely.
When we pulled our oldest out, she was in the 4th grade. And I had a mentor that told me, do not try to do school at home. So I did have that wisdom already in my mind. But I think what was hard for my children was to see me as their teacher and not just mom. They saw me as mom, but when it was time to teach, they didn't think that I knew anything. So I had to like gain their buy-in, I guess, or I'm like, I went to college. I know math. I know how to add and subtract. And it literally took some months for them to see me in that way, not just as mom, but also educator. So that was kind of a weird transition. But outside of that, if like what Ayesha just said, if you just keep it laid back, and we're going to talk about deschooling in a future workshop, just like forget what you did before and do home, it makes it so much better.
Absolutely. Now, at the top part of your notice of intent, you're going to put your school year, and then you're going to put their ages and their names. And then it gets into your proof of eligibility. I graduated from college, so I just make a copy of my college diploma and attach it to this. If you are a Virginia board certified teacher, you can attach your licensure, and you don't have to do proof of progress, which I will get to very soon. You don't have to do proof of progress every year. You just send in proof of your licensure when you renew it. So that's like a bing bang bonus if you're a teacher and you decide to school your kids at home. Another one is if you buy a correspondence from a school that sells curriculum. Like for kindergarten, I bought the entire kindergarten curriculum from Calvert. They weren't grading my kid. I was doing the lessons with my kid. We followed the curriculum. We made our own schedule. You can provide that. You can provide, I'm using Calvert for kindergarten, or you can just provide a list of subjects that you'll be covering.
Can I chime in right there?
Yes.
So a list of subjects, so like math, English, science, history.
Yes, there are the 3 R's for
Okay.
elementary school, the reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Okay.
They were going to do math, English, and, history or social studies.
Okay, my daughter's 9th grade, so.
Yes. And for 9th grade, for a high school period, I recommend that you keep track of your textbooks and just list the basic subjects. If she's taking biology, algebra 1, and German 1, then I would just list that. But you keep the ISBN for your textbooks for when you can create your transcripts, because she's going to need that if she decides to go to college.
Okay.
I'm jumping ahead of myself.
No, but forgive me. What is an ISBN? I have no clue.
Oh, that you know how in the front of the book it has like, this is copyrighted material. It has all of that information. It usually has a number.
Okay.
So that they know what edition, that type of thing for your book.
Okay.
You can provide a program of study, or you can just attach a notice about why you think you're qualified to provide home instruction. That's one of the 4 ways that you provide proof. Are there any questions?
Ayesha, do you want me to show that form like on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
My computer is being slow. That's why it took me a minute to get on this call.
That's okay. All right, you can keep talking and I'll pull that up.
Okay. So yeah, a basic list of subjects. For high school, like I said, I recommend you keeping copies of your textbooks. And does everybody see that? Thank you, Shannon.
Oh,
You're
yes,
welcome.
That's what it
I
looks
have
like.
that. Okay,
Yes.
I got the right one then. Okay.
Yes.
And when you say keep a copy of textbooks, what do you mean exactly by that?
Like, you can take a picture with your phone of the cover and the inside copyrighted information.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for
high school. That you can include as proof of to a college about what book you use along with the letter grades for homeschooling.
Okay.
Now that you've sent in your note, you send in your notice of intent before August 15th. That's very important. Send it in before the 15th of August, which starts tomorrow. Email, mail, or hand delivered.
Ayesha.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Would you say most people do option one? Would you say just statistically or from your experience in talking to homeschool parents?
Some people, I like to hand deliver because I want to get a stamp. But most people mail it. They have been mailing it. Email has been phased in over the past 5 years or so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about the 4 different home instruction options.
Oh, most people have a high school diploma, so they just attach that.
Okay. And their subjects that they're teaching.
And the subjects. That's it. That's all you have to provide, and you're ready to go after you hand it in.
And this can be hand delivered, correct? You can hand deliver it and have somebody sign at that particular time?
Yep.
Okay. I think that's the way
can I have my notice? And you can ask for your notice when you hand it in.
Okay.
Because the notice, it's not for, it's not allowing you because you can homeschool your child. It is proof. I use it to get the educator discounts.
Okay.
I got an educator discount card from Barnes & Noble after showing that. So.
Okay.
Yes.
So they would give you, who's going to give you the, okay, I done got confused here. Okay, so the notice of intent, you have to turn that in, but they're going to give you a receipt, you said? I'm sorry.
Yes.
That you turn this letter in.
Yes.
And then you use that to get the discount.
I use it to get the discount.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
And I always email mine because I'm all, social distancing and everything.
Okay. Once you send that in, you're set to go. You pick your curriculum. Once you start getting into the meat of things, if a curriculum doesn't work out, it's okay to switch it up. Say, okay, this is not working. And you ask your fellow homeschoolers, do you recommend something else? So that's part of the assessment and adjustment period of when you first start in a homeschool, because you're learning your child just like you would in regular parenting. You're learning how they learn, what their interests are, how you learn, what your interests are. I find that if I'm not interested in the subject, I'm not interested in teaching it. And so I farm that out to a co-op who are made up of parents and teachers who are passionate about what they teach, and they can instill that into your child because your child obviously has an interest in that. Last but not least, proof of progress. You've picked your curriculum, you've started, you've assessed, you've adjusted, and your proof of progress is another hoop that we have to jump in order to continue homeschooling if you're planning on doing it past this school year. You can either take a CAT, a Terra Nova. You know what? I wrote the acronyms, but not the actual full names down. Y'all don't know what this is. I'm doing what my husband did to me when he was in the Army. He would throw acronyms at me, and I'm like,
You're right.
I'm 42. If you remember taking like California Achievement Test, that's what CAT is.
Yeah.
California Achievement Test. Some of you might be younger than me and don't remember
Stafford.
that.
There's one called Stafford or something like that.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Stanford Achievement Test.
Yeah.
That is something that you can order independently from testing centers to show proof of progress.
Okay.
Your child has to show proficiency above the 23rd percentile in order to be considered progressing. That's how low it is. Most homeschoolers have no problem hurdling that at all. And you can do that test anytime after you guys have finished the majority of your teaching for your homeschool year, but that has to be turned in by August 1st. You make a copy. Yeah, you make a copy of the result, the test result that your testing center sends you, and you can either hand it in with your notice of intent for the next school year, or hand that in and say, I'm going to do something else for the next school year. Whatever, if you plan on going back to a brick and mortar school after this school year.
Can I ask a question? Okay, my daughter did horrible last year. She was in 9th grade last year.
Yeah.
She just completely just didn't do well at all because of that Chromebook. There's no books. She just couldn't stay focused. So if we do well this year and I catch her up, so would she have to go back to 9th grade or would she go to the next grade?
It really depends on you. Like I said, when I put my kid back in Virtual Virginia, we use Virtual Virginia, which is online, full-time online high school for the state of Virginia.
Okay.
It was a hot mess.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. And like she did, okay for 9th grade, for the 10th grade, it was a complete wash.
Okay.
And we had to redo 10th grade. That's how bad it was. And like, there's no shame in that because she's a child. It's okay.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. I'm just because I know my daughter asked me the question, and I'm like, I don't know. So I was just curious. I don't see. She gave me a hard time about homeschooling until she, just bombed out. So now she's all for it. But I was just wondering if she did well, would she have to, would they make her repeat 9th grade if we did 9th grade at home, or could she go on to the next grade?
If you feel like ask her, honestly, she's old enough now to tell you how she feels. If she feels like I asked my then 10th grade, I was like, did you feel like you retained anything this year? It was so stressful. She's like, Mommy, no.
Okay.
And
this is what I'm saying. Would this as the school, would she
No,
have to
you're the school.
No, but if she wanted to go back to school.
If she wanted to go back to school, she would have to show proficiency past the 23rd percentile. That's it.
And she would go on to the next grade.
Yes.
Okay. She asked me, and I told her I don't know. I'll have to ask. So I don't think we'll go back to the brick and mortar, but I want to be able to answer her question.
Yes. Also, besides standardized testing, you can have a certified tutor do an assessment. That's what she does not do well with standardized testing. So last year we switched to her being evaluated.
Okay.
Yes. So you can have a certified teacher evaluate her and her progress.
Okay. All right.
That's also progress. Yes.
Okay.
Your
Ayesha,
evaluator. Huh?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. You have questions and comments in the chat.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Your evaluator. Your evaluator will also, for at least for high school, will also help you put together your transcript and your portfolio.
Okay.
Yeah, to help you pull all of that together. so that all the information is ready if your kid wants to go to college.
Okay,
That's
wonderful.
really helpful. Yeah.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Okay, I'm reading.
Yeah, I can help you.
Okay.
So Yolanda, one of our other moderators and homeschool veterans, like Ayesha, says that keep a portfolio. If you have a high schooler that wants to return to public school, I would say for us, when I sent my middle schooler back, I had homeschool grades that I kept myself. I made a homeschool report card. I had all my CAT exams printed out, and I advocated for my child, excuse me, because I wanted her to be back in those advanced classes. So they're going to try you and be like, well, whatever. And I'm not on the high school level, but I have heard stories where they do accept your homeschool credits and then some don't. And it just depends on the school, the guidance counselor, the mood they're in, who's in there. So just like everything else, keep your records, advocate, keep that portfolio and be ready to go to bat. I love what Ayesha was saying about the ISBN numbers for high schoolers and the textbooks you used and just having a really strong documentation.
Okay.
But someone asked about pods.
Yes.
Do you have any feedback on that? Homeschool pods. It's kind of a new thing, right?
It is. Well, I mean, it's kind of new, but
it's kind of like a co-op.
mini, right? It's like a mini co-op where parents get together and say, okay, they either get a certified tutor, like a certified tutor is like a person with a board certified teaching certificate to teach here in Virginia, or the parents say, we're going to split up the subjects and Alice is going to teach English on Mondays and Fridays, and Jack is going to teach health and PE on Wednesdays. So like they split up teaching subjects amongst a small group of families.
Okay.
So that is also an option where you, more hands share light and burn. I'm really bad at idioms sometimes.
We know what you mean.
More hands make a light and load.
Yes.
We depend on that a lot as a homeschool community.
Yeah, we do.
I know I'm so grateful for the co-op that I found. That was that's been a tremendous blessing. So yeah.
Yeah. We were in a good co-op too. We're not meeting with COVID going on, but it was a very good help because I couldn't teach Japanese and my child wanted to learn Japanese. I was like, what? One comment from Yolanda says, the beauty of homeschooling is autonomy. Yes. Close the door and do what works best for your family.
Absolutely.
Amen to that. Let's see, Speller, if you are leaving a private school, never been to public school, are you required to register with the school district before submitting your letter of intent?
Whether you go to private or public school, you have to give your notice of intent. That's it.
The notice of intent is like the easiest part. 5 minutes, boom, boom, bam, take it
Absolutely.
in. That's going to be the easiest step.
Yes.
Hi, this is Speller.
Go ahead.
This is Speller. So for the question, so if you've never been in a private school, whether you do the absent of the letter of intent, do you still have to register with the school district?
That is you register. Your notice of intent is your registration with the school district.
Oh, okay. I was told differently. Okay, I'm glad I asked.
Okay, thank you, Speller. The next question, someone wanted the link for Calvert. I did put that in the chat.
Yes. They were so fun for kindergarten. They provided all the, not just the books, but like the clay, the yarn, the manipulatives for fine motor skills. Like for an all-in-one, it was so fun. They provided the little CD to play the music. So yeah, it was
that
great.
sounds fun. We did a lot of singing and dancing in kindergarten too. Let's see. Emily has her hand raised. So Emily, if you can hear me, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody.
Hey.
Question. I'm getting married in October, and
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. I decided to homeschool my son. However, my bonus children have moved from Maryland where they were enrolled, and I'll be homeschooling them as well. I know that I have to, and my son was previously enrolled in Suffolk, but now we all moved. We bought a home in Portsmouth, so it's kind of a lot of things, different things going on. From what I've been told, I think that I need to send my NOI to Suffolk. But then how would that work for my bonus children that are coming from Maryland where they were enrolled pre-corona?
Are they going to be staying with you for the school year?
Yes, and I will be homeschooling them.
Okay, so you don't send it to Suffolk. If you're not living in Suffolk, you send it to the city that you're residing in. So you're going to send it to the city of Portsmouth.
Okay, because my son, we were living in Suffolk before corona.
Yeah.
And then we all bought a home in Portsmouth. So he's still enrolled into Suffolk schools. So I submitted to Portsmouth?
Yes. You let his school know that you won't be returning, his old school, that you won't be returning, and you send in your notice of intent to the public schools for Portsmouth.
Okay.
Portsmouth public schools.
Okay, and then what about?
We'll be providing the numbers to those particular school districts here in the region.
Okay, and then and for my bonus children that are in Maryland, I would let the school know in Maryland that they're not, and then do the same thing.
Yes.
Okay. And their dad we're not married yet, so does their dad have to send that information, or how does that work?
I would think so, since he's a legal guardian at this point. Yes.
Okay.
So he would have to sign the bottom of this.
And he would have to submit his degree and everything.
Yes. Well, okay. I mean, whoever's going to be teaching.
That would be me.
Right. So he would submit your degree.
Okay.
You'll be living in the same household, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
But since he's the legal guardian, he has to sign the bottom.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
All right, Camille wants to know, where do we find curriculum?
You can find it
everywhere.
Online, right? All over online. Locally, I know a lot of people here use more expressions. I've been meaning to get down there, and I live on the peninsula, and y'all know that.
Yeah,
I try to avoid the
bridge
as much as possible.
Come on over. Okay, so
I was just in Moore's Expression earlier this week.
Yes, ma'am.
And you would have thought they was giving away money in there. That's how crowded it was.
I heard.
A lot of people are just, using their
I heard
operating in their options.
They had a great sale, though. They had a wonderful sale in there.
That's good. They're in the Kempsville area, Virginia Beach, if y'all are not familiar.
They're on Indian River Road.
Yep, by the Lidl.
6070 Indian River Road.
Excellent. Yeah, they helped me a lot when I first started homeschooling. They kind of talked me off the ledge, so to speak. I was like, I can't do this. Please help me. So they were very helpful. I've gotten curriculum from everywhere. I like to use free stuff. I don't like to pay for things because I'm frugal. So I've used teacherspayteachers.com. I've used Easy Peasy All-in-One Homeschool, which is an online curriculum that was made by a homeschool mom. And I love what she's put together. I find things in the Dollar Tree, Costco, BJ's. Yeah, I mean, you can teach from books. You can do unit studies where your kid picks a subject and you guys pull YouTube videos together about that subject.
Your library, your public library.
The public library.
And because this is such a prominent way of homeschooling in this area, they are ready, willing, and able to help
Mm-hmm.
you find whatever resources that you need.
That's
Are
so
they open
true.
back up or they still closed? The
I
library.
have not been. I think they might, because we moved back to phase 2, they might be closed.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. I would still call and find out.
Yeah,
Okay.
double check. I know Virginia Beach had very limited hours, like you could come in for an hour, and then you had to leave. But like Aisha said, since we moved back, I'm not sure how they changed it.
Okay.
But they have textbooks in the library too, on
Yeah.
all subjects. The
Yeah.
library is
You
amazing.
can kind of do that online, right? And then just go pick them up, right?
Yeah.
You know,
you can
okay.
have them hold it for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure can.
That's excellent. That is excellent.
Okay, we have another question.
Yes.
And if you guys want to speak your question, feel free. I'm just reading them. I see Karen's. Oh, no, that was Emily from before. Emily, did you have another question? Okay, so Brittany says, being a first-time homeschooling teacher, would you suggest going with the school's K-12 curriculum or having your own curriculum, especially if you are undecided on whether or not your children go back to public school?
I would follow closely with what their local public school would be teaching them, just to know that if I need to return them back to brick and mortar for any reason, that option is, I mean, it's always available, but know that if you're closely following along, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you?
Brittany, are you asking about K-12 or are you asking about their school?
K-12 curriculum, or are you just asking about what the list of things that they're teaching in school?
The list of things that they're teaching in school.
Okay.
Yeah. Like if you go by the list of things that they're teaching in school, most brick and mortar schools don't even get through that on their own list. But if you find that you're covering about 75 to 80% of what is listed on, if you go to the Virginia Department of Education,
Mm-hmm.
their SOLs, they list everything that they're covering for each subject. I find if you cover 50 to 80% of what's listed, your kid will be okay.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. The chat is jumping. Let me scroll down a little bit. Okay, Yolanda says you have to be a mommy bear and don't be a pushover and know the law. Okay, so that was to the question of returning your children back to public school.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a choice that you are making or planning for.
Oh, thank you, Yolanda. She said, pause in which you are the primary teacher responsible, who are not your own, are illegal in Virginia unless you are a certified teacher.
Say that again,
I know
Ayesha.
that. Yolanda wrote, pods in which you are the primary teacher responsible for full responsibility of teaching children who are not yours are illegal in Virginia unless you are a certified teacher.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, Mary wants us to explain the difference between homeschooling and online curriculums. She's another one of our moderators, so she's just reminding us to put that out there because we have K-12, we're saying, but then there's also K-12 like VAVA.
Oh, yes. Well, there's K-12, which is online public school for whatever program that they're using, and there's also Virtual Virginia, which is online public school. Both of them work via distance learning over the computer. And the difference between that is that, like I said, they control your materials, they control when they teach and what they teach. So if your kid has to do English at 8 in the morning, they have to be up in the front of that computer for English at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
Or they'll get marked absent. And like I said, because they have attendance that they need to check off, they have to be there.
And we should probably mention that homeschoolers don't take SOLs.
No, they do not.
But if you
Our
choose
proof
to
of
go,
progress are our SOLs.
but if you do something like VAVA K-12, then you will take an SOL.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Look, Yolanda wanted to remind us that we have a 7 p.m. session tonight. She said, don't go buy anything before tonight's 7 o'clock Zoom.
Oh,
Keep it in your basket. Keep it in your basket.
I definitely
Keep it in the
will do that
basket.
right there.
Just put it in the cart, but don't press buy. Okay, let's see. Scrolling down.
You can find the laws on heav.org or virginiahomeschools.org. I'm going to put the links here in the chat. Hold on. Did somebody already put HEAV in the chat at the top?
I just put it for the notice of intent, but I can do it for you if you like.
Okay.
I'm trying to support you best
Thank
I
you,
can.
Shannon. I appreciate you.
No problem. And there's a lot of great information on HEAV anyway.
Absolutely. They're a great resource.
Let's see. All right, let me check the chat.
Wanda.
I think the chat is clear. I think I answered everyone's question, but someone may have another.
Does anybody have that's all I wanted to cover. Because it's just a 101. Did I cover everybody's concerns? Did anybody have any more concerns?
You did me well. I really appreciate it.
You can do this.
You can do it.
Yes,
I'm going to give it my best shot.
absolutely. And your child will be blessed by your efforts.
I really hope so. I do. I'm encouraged by you ladies. I really am. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
I have another question. My question is more on unschooling and deschooling. I'm seeing a lot of that, the language floating around. My children are young. I have my oldest bonus child is 9. There's a 7-year-old, my son, and my other bonus child was 6 years old. So they're still kind of young. They're not in high school, and I'm just trying to find the best way for them to learn. And a lot of it is not like strict curriculum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, is that the topic tonight?
Yeah, tonight we're doing educational philosophies and learning styles.
Okay, boom.
See, we got you.
We got you.
Can I just say that it's just beautiful to have a group full of beautiful Black women, people, and
Say
just,
it.
Yes.
you know, having a safe space to discuss this thing. So thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wonderful. It really is.
Wanda is quiet, but she's on. She is the founder of Hampton Roads Black Home Educators, and she's also graduated all of her homeschoolers.
She went to K-12.
Yes, amazing woman. And I want to say about what Emily asked about is that learning differently was really key for us because, like Ayesha, I have a gifted student who struggled with math. And she used to get kind of, I say bullied, it might be a strong word, but I felt like the teacher was a little rough on my child because they were gifted and still struggled really hard in math. And what I learned is when we came home to homeschool, I really couldn't use regular teaching. I couldn't approach her just in my own way. We had to literally put the books aside. I did not teach anything out of a book or curriculum for like 6 months. And we went in the kitchen and we started cooking. And we would go to the grocery store. So we were doing percentages. We were doing elapsed time through when did you start cooking that? When is it going to be ready? We were doing fractions because you have to weigh and measure everything. And I kept trying to say, this is not math. This is real life. And I kept telling her that. She's like, Mom, you're trying to trick me. I'm like, I'm not trying to trick you. This is real life stuff. And this is why you have to learn it. And I really was just trying to gain buy-in, because sometimes your kids are not going to learn just from our normal method of delivery. Just like, here's
That's
the
not how
arithmetic.
we learn.
No, it's
Our
not.
learning goes up and down, even
It
as adults.
does. Yeah. And it took a while. And then finally she's like, okay, this is math. Okay, fine. And now there's still apprehension there, because there was so much negative energy given in that area in public school toward my student. But there's also so much more confidence. Like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can do this. I didn't know I could do this, but I'm doing it. I'm like, yes. We did pre-algebra yesterday because we're doing summer enrichment. And she was like, I know how to put these like factors together. I was like, yes, you do, honey. You be all right. You can find that slope, honey. You can find that slope. Yes, you can. So building confidence, I think, has been the joy of my heart for my children. My son had open heart surgery when he was in preschool and had to spend a lot of time out of school. And I really feel like that put him back a little bit from his learning. So when he went to kindergarten, he had a hard time taking everything in. So when we started homeschooling, I redid all of kindergarten. So when you said, Ayesha, the singing, the dancing, and jumping up and down, and we used to build tents and read in the dark and with the flashlight, we did all kind of stuff. But to see him gain confidence in an area where he really felt like he could not, and to know I taught my son how to read, it just like blows my mind. You know, I see you wanting to cry. I see you, Ayesha. Tears. But it's just like we get to know our kids in a different way, and we can do this, even though it's like, are we cut out? Yeah, we are.
I think Camille had a question.
Sorry, I might have to leave soon. Hi.
Hi.
So I like the fact that with homeschooling, you can go at your own pace. I'll have a first grader and a kindergartner. Would it be possible to do like, I don't know, 8 to 12 kindergarten and then 1 to 3 first grader? Like, how would you set up the schedule?
Honestly, it depends on your kids. Is your kindergartner a morning person, or does he do better in the afternoon? And you might not even have to do all those long hours, because remember, you're going at the pace of your kid. If your kid can get his numbers 1 through 50 in 30 minutes, then you'll be done in 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If he needs a little bit longer time, you can extend the time and tell your first grader, well, we'll do what you need to do after lunch. If she does better in the morning, you can flip-flop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. And I did, even though my kids are 4 years apart, I did a lot of stuff together.
Yes, a lot of those reading louds, the reading books together,
Yeah.
watching nature videos. The boys did music appreciation at the library. So yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I see that Lydia
Yeah.
has a question.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry, I'm outside.
We
So.
can hear
Yep.
you.
Okay, good. So I have 4 boys. My oldest is 10. He has an IEP. This is our first year transitioning out. We start homeschooling this fall. So a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old.
Mhm.
But the 4-year-old was, like you said, he doesn't turn 5 till late November, mid-November. So I want to merge like the pre-K and kindergarten stuff for him.
Yeah.
But for Samuel, his that's the 10-year-old. He's going to 5th grade. His thing is with spatial reasoning index, like a form of dyspraxia, where he has hard with kind of like creative conversation or comprehension. Sometimes in his math, when it gets to word problems, he knows his math, but when it's come up with your own math problems and stuff like that, that's where he has a little bit of the difficulties. it shows in his language arts. So I was wondering, is there, I think maybe just through creative ways in which I will incorporate into the curriculum, or it's something specific that you all would recommend as far as just your children with an IEP, or just, you know, working with them just kind of at their design, their, you know, the way that they learn.
This is outside of my wheelhouse.
Okay, I won't be there tonight, so I wasn't sure if this is a tonight.
Well, we'll be recording. Like, these recordings will be available on Facebook.
Okay, cool.
Via our main page.
Okay.
Yep.
But
And
I think if you write in the chat, your question in the chat, maybe Shannon can relay it to Yolanda.
Perfect. No problem.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I wish I could answer that.
It's okay.
Yeah, we have a couple of math tutors as well in our group that may have some suggestions
Okay.
to help out. I know we do a lot of manipulatives because I've tried to bring math to life so that it can go from the paper to real life. And that may not be the answer to your exact question, but I do think
Hi,
it's
Shannon.
important. Hey, who's talking?
It's Yolanda. I heard my
Hey,
name,
Yolanda.
but I couldn't really hear. I'm not really in a place where I can talk to you guys. There's probably a lot of background noise. But if they can repeat the question, I can probably make sure that it's answered on the session tonight.
Lydia, would you repeat your question?
Repeat it now. Okay.
Mhm.
So my question is about my oldest. He's 10. He'll be going to, I guess you would say 5th grade, but he has an IEP, and it specifically is dealing with his dyspraxia or spatial reasoning index. He has difficulty. He's a concrete learner, so he does well with his math and his language arts or reading comprehension until you ask him to describe something in, you know, a paragraph or kind of using that spatial reasoning index. The creativity part is where he needs more concrete help or assistance that allows him to just kind of work through the problems better. So I'm just trying to figure out how I can add that into the curriculum, or maybe just some tips in just creating an environment that helps someone maybe that deals within, you know, some of that learning type that he has. So I don't know if that is a long question, but
It's a great question. Yolanda, do you have any thoughts?
Hi, I do.
Okay.
One of the things that I'm going to be talking about a lot tonight is determining what your kids' learning styles are.
Right.
And one of the beauties of homeschooling is that you really get to centralize whatever weaknesses or whatever strengths that your kids have. So if it's, you know, with the dyscalculia, dysgraphia, dyslexia, whatever, you know, learning, I don't even like to use the word disability,
Right.
but whatever kind of learning ability that your child has, you're much more in a better position to be able to speak directly and deal directly with that issue. So in terms of figuring out what style works best for your child, whether he is a visual learner or a kinesthetic learner,
Mm-hmm.
it's really going to improve. I wouldn't necessarily say worry about curriculum so much at this point, but figure out what type of things that you can do as his teacher to actually connect with that part of his brain that's going to help him excel the best.
That's very helpful.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm not really in a place where I can give you a concrete answer right now because there's a lot of noise in the background. So, you know, I would love for you, if you can, to join me tonight, and I'll talk a little bit more about that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lydia, for that question. I think we cleared the chat. My goodness.
Quick question. Is there anyone else who will be working full-time while homeschooling. I work from home, and I'm trying to find the best way to manage doing both. Is there any type of creative scheduling that you guys have done?
That is actually on the list of, we'll be covering about 6 or 7 topics in the month of August. So that is absolutely going to pop up.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm looking through the chat.
Did we get
Okay,
everything?
while everyone is thinking about their final questions, I just wanted to make mention of the mentorship opportunity that's been set up on our Facebook group. If you are not on Facebook, then just let one of the moderators know, because you probably know one of us, and we can help you get connected to someone that is already homeschooling. And if you need kind of a hand to hold, or just someone to talk to, it's set up on the Facebook group, and you just look for mentorship, and then you're able to type in your name and what you're looking for, and then be connected to someone. So I think it'll be really helpful just to talk through different things and have some support. You know, I had support. I know some people that did not have support. I think it makes a world of difference.
Well, I'm certainly going to utilize it, because I know I'm going to need some hand holding going through this.
Okay, we'll get through this together.
That's
Okay.
right. Absolutely.
Okay.
We will meet tonight at 7 with Yolanda, who was
Is
just
the link
speaking
already
with us.
on the page?
It is actually the same Zoom link.
Oh, yay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So just come right back here, and we'll just keep chatting it up. Anyone have any other questions? Yolanda, not Yolanda. Ayesha, did you have anything else you wanted to say? Breaking glass.
I have 3 teenagers. I don't know. The 15th, please get in your notice of intent by the 15th. Don't worry about proof of progress this year, because the General Assembly that works with the school districts has essentially realized that it's been a hot mess the past 4 months. So you don't have to worry about that, but just make sure you get in your notice of intent by the 15th.
Okay.
Let's get this party started. The homeschool dance.
I just want to say thank you all. Y'all have no idea. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. It was getting ready to be overwhelming. And I mean, I just thank you. Just thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're very welcome. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight at 7, and we will put the recorded, what is it? A video, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll put it on the Facebook group. And if you're not on Facebook, just let one of the moderators know, and we'll email it to you.
Okay. Thank you, ladies. Bye.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Ayesha.
You're welcome.